everyone. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Stephanie podcast. This is Stephanie Buckland, and I'm so excited to have a conversation today with Tammy Gartrell about brain health. And Tammy, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for asking me. I'm so excited too. This is fun.
Yay! So I would love for you to give our audience a little introduction about what you've been up to with your business lately.
Okay, so my name is Tammy Gartrell, and my company is Neora. And actually, probably the biggest thing I can tell you is I started doing Neora 8 years ago, and on my dream board was to buy my dream home in Myrtle Beach. And I moved to Myrtle Beach on December 16th because Neora I can do anywhere. And because it was on my bucket list, I just kept checking those things off my bucket list. So it has been a win-win for me.
That's beautiful. So tell me your why. What is it about Neora that grabbed your attention and made you want to join the company?
Well, if I told you the first reason, that might not be a big why, but okay. So I went to a presentation for Neora with my next door neighbor, and she was looking for a way to stay at home and to raise her child without having to go to corporate America anymore. And she had been doing Neora for 2 years without telling me because I was too busy. I did like 4 different professional things. I was in charge of 66 schools in Virginia. I was just a busy person. But when my baby son became a senior in high school, she decided it was perfect timing for her to introduce me to Neora, and it was a perfect timing. So I went to a presentation. At the time, we only had 4 products, and I actually heard testimonies and saw people where the product really worked. So it was a no-brainer. And so when they got to the part about for 9 sales a month, you could go on a free vacation, I just said, sign me up, because I'd never been on a free vacation. My husband always paid for the vacations. And so now I could take him on vacation and pay for free. And so I was all excited. So I signed up, and I didn't realize what a life-changing event it was going to be for me. So with those 4 little products, and I won my first trip in my first year, and I just won my 8th free trip in 8 years. Okay. So, but then the life-changing part came. So when you help somebody, whether it's with brain health or stomach health, or because they're losing their hair, or just because they look younger and they feel better about themselves, there's nothing more important than helping somebody. So you know how it is. You love people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my first, believe it or not, 2 weeks after using my night cream, people stopped me in the grocery store and said, "What are you doing to your skin?" And I'm going, "Are you kidding me?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "I've known you all my life, and you never had a conversation at the grocery store with me about my skin. I just cannot believe this," right? So it was a no-brainer. It was, and the science behind the product is really what got me more than anything else. So now I feel like I'm sort of a scientist. Okay, so I do a lot of research. I actually maybe too much science research, because I'm just supposed to share the product, not know all that science. Okay, so I have some really good testimonies from clients of how the product has changed their health, their baldness, their skin. So that's why I do Neora.
Wonderful. I love your why. It's a very detailed why, which usually makes success, because it's not just like one reason. There's multiple reasons, So Neora is a network marketing company. Is that right?
Yes.
So I like to call them social marketing companies, because essentially you have to be social. in order to sell the products. And so tell me a little bit about the business. You mentioned that they were founded about 12 years ago.
Yes. So Princeton University found a molecule that goes underneath your skin that actually revitalizes the tissue. So once you de-age, you don't re-age. So they called Jeff Olson, who was a retired multimillionaire at the time, and asked him, would he like to start a company? So he did all this research of how to help people, not only with skin and health, but he did all this research on how to help people change their lifestyle with the income that they could actually do something with, right? So then he started Neora, and August 29th will be 12 years old. So in their first year, we sold $100 million. We had one product, a night cream. Our motto was one and done. In our next 5 years, we did 1.5 billion in sales, but we had 4 products. And did you know that Google didn't do that and Amazon didn't do that? And I'm sure you use those every day, right?
What's that?
Google or Amazon?
Google, yes. Amazon, less so, but yes.
With 4 little products, 1.5 billion in 5 years. So the EHT brain health supplement was our first wellness. So now we're not only skincare, but we have wellness, we have hair, we have weight loss, we have a little bit of everything. So there's many categories, and the top of L'Oreal just came to our company to design products because of the fact that we're all clean. And she really liked the fact that we're all clean company, and she wanted to come somewhere where she could do research to put out products that are all clean. And I will tell you, when we come out with a product, there's not a product like it on the market. 4 or 5 years later, somebody else gets the science, somebody else tries to duplicate. But like when we came out with our weight loss, just for example, the patent in it, I call it a patent, is fat browning. Nobody was introducing fat browning as a weight loss way to lose weight and keep weight off. And in the next 5 years, every time you hear the word fat browning, you're going to think of Tammy Gartrell, because you're going to say, oh, she told me about fat browning 5 years ago, right? So that's just why I like Neora. It's always the top. Like in the last 2 weeks, we were published in 3 magazines. One, we were published to be one of the top 10 companies in the world that would not be affected by the recession. And that is pretty huge. Okay. One of our products was recognized for being one of the summer's best products, called Neora Glow. And then our anti-aging sunscreen was just published as the best sunscreen on the market, because it's 40 SPF for both blue light, which is that computer screen we're looking at, or your TV, and sun. So we're always in some magazine, but not because we paid them, but because they find out how well our product is, and then they recognize us. So
that's awesome. Right on. So you mentioned that there are 4 brain function areas. If you want to walk us through what those function areas are and how they affect us.
Okay, so there's the first one is cognitive health. And that's how well you think, you learn, and you remember things. So that was one brain function. Your second brain function is your motor function. And that's how you move or balance. And if you notice, as people get older, their balance gets off, they fall more. Okay, so that's really important. The third one is emotional function. How well you interpret or respond to your emotions, whether it's both pleasant and unpleasant. Okay, so how well you actually respond. And then the last one is the tactile function. And that's how you feel or respond to sensations such as heat, temperature, pressure, and pain. So you have 4 basic brain health functions.
Awesome. Okay, so then tell me about these 5 basic areas that we can do to keep our brains healthy.
Okay, so for all 5. You have 5 simple little things to do, and you're going to laugh because the first one is to be active and exercise. Okay. So, you would think, why would exercising be important for your brain, right? Well, exercise is important for every organ you have in your body, right?
Mhm.
But studies show that some types of exercise keep your brain operating more so than others. So just walking is not something that stimulates your brain. Sorry to tell you that, but it's an exercise. So if that's the only exercise you do, please do it because you really need to exercise. But some of the exercises that you can do that actually stimulates the brain are like sit-ups and push-ups. And I know we hate to all do those. And I started, because of research, I started doing this is squats. Squats are the best exercise to keep your brain healthy. Okay. So a professor at the University of South Wales, his name is Dr. Bailey. He did research on squats. And so when you go up and down, the brain will increase and decrease in blood flow. Okay. So when you're squatting, you going up and down, it actually sends enough blood to the arteries of the brain. It helps the brain recognize the chemicals that it needs to keep growing. So everybody's goal should be to get to doing 3 minutes of squats a day or every other day. So that I find that my husband keeps going, "Are you doing squats?" And I said, "Yes, I'm doing squats. I'm doing squats. I'm doing squats." Okay. Just a fun note, you would never think that something as simple as squats could keep your brain healthy, but
Well, sure. And what the cool thing about squats too is it also makes your butt really nice.
okay, let's take before and after pictures.
Yeah.
So the second thing, okay, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but the second thing is good nutrition. So how many times do your family tell you need to eat your vegetables, right? Well, a healthy diet really consists of fruits, vegetables, grains, lean meats, fish, and poultry. And you need to drink water. So I don't care anything that you do, water is important. So the amount of water you should drink a day is half your body weight in ounces. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds, and you should try to get in 100 ounces of water a day just to keep you healthy. And it also keeps the brain healthy as well. And there is some research that shows that Alzheimer's can be prevented by doing a simple, they connecting it sort of to the Mediterranean diet. And I think that's I personally think that's because of the amount of fish you eat, okay, with the fish oil and all of that, but that's just
absolutely.
So so good nutrition goes a long way with keeping your brain healthy. So don't eat a lot of sugar, don't eat a lot of salt, don't eat a lot of fat, and also remember to keep your portion size small. Okay, so that's a way that you can keep your brain healthy. The next two that I want to talk about are a little bit more fun, I think. So, intellectual stimulation. So, do some puzzles, play games. I love to play board games. Good board games to keep your brain healthy are memory games, matching games. Anytime you can actually keep your brain active is a good way to keep good brain health. Read books, read magazines, volunteer. Okay, so why volunteer? Because when you volunteer, you use portions of your brain that you don't normally use. You use skills you don't normally use, so it keeps your brain healthy. Take a class. You do yoga, right? Take a yoga class. Okay, take some type of class to keep you stimulated. Just be active. Okay. Now, this is my fun part. I excel at this one. Okay. So I should never have any brain problems on social engagement. Okay. So it's very, very important in order to keep your brain operating, not to be alone. Um, People who are in like say nursing homes in a room alone and people don't come visit them. I don't know if you ever noticed or not, but their brain health starts to deteriorate faster.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
So engagement is very important. So make sure you have some friends that you do things with. If you don't, then I'm going to suggest a few ways to get some friends. Take up a new hobby. Okay. Here, since I moved to Myrtle Beach, we have this thing called Myrtle Beach Girlfriends Facebook page, right?
Mhm.
And in that page, somebody posts an event. I can go to 5 events a day. I am never bored. Okay. So sometimes they play bunco, sometimes they play Mexican train, sometimes they just go to lunch, sometimes they just go to coffee, sometimes they go out and at night and dance or do line dances. But you just pick the one that you like and you just sign up to go, and they do fill
Mhm.
up. But find some groups of people that you have something in common with, just so you have people to socialize with.
Mm.
And then the last thing that I'm going to say is to find, and it's never too early for this, is to find a good brain supplement to take, because I have found from research that things like Alzheimer's and dementia can be hereditary. And the important part is to prevent it before you start getting symptoms. Okay. So I know I personally sell a brain supplement. There are brain supplements on the market. The one that I sell is called EHT, and it came from research of 20 years at Princeton University by Dr. Jeffrey Stott. And it was funded by the Michael J. Fox Foundation, the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Association, and the National Institute of Health. And after 20 years, it is a capsule that you take that actually goes into the blood membrane, through the blood membrane, and it actually gives you cognitive function, overall brain health. It helps you store energy. It actually ignites your neurons every day. It protects you very well from mental decline. So if you think, and I'm going to tell you two testimonies, one from my family and one from not my family. So my son at the age of 18 went off to college, and he was making D's. And so he says, Mom, can I have that brain stuff you sell? And I've only been selling the product maybe 6 months, right? And I said, well, sure. In 2 months, he went from D's to A's. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and then doctors in my hometown of Virginia, they were actually telling parents, instead of giving parents that medicine for ADD, they were giving kids the supplement, and they were going like from D's to A's in school, and because they could focus, right? And
Nice.
and the other story I want to tell is I network a lot, so I meet new people. Well, in my networking group in Virginia, there was a guy who, comes and sprays for termites and things.
Mhm.
Well, he told me his mother-in-law had signs of beginning dementia. So, of course, I think I can help everybody. So I told him about the EHT brain supplement, right? So a year went by, he didn't buy. Okay. So he saw me again at the networking group, because he wasn't in my group, but a group I visited, right? And he
Mhm.
said, my mother-in-law really needs that supplement you have. And I said, well, get your wife on the phone with me and I will tell her all about it. So I send her a video. She watches the video about the brace. She calls me. She says, I think I'm going to try it. So she bought it for her mom. Well, 2 months later, I get this phone call, and I thought, oh my, I'm new. I just don't know what to expect. You always think the worst thing until you hear the good news, right? So for the first time in a year, her mother-in-law drove herself to the grocery store, bought her own groceries, and wrote her own check. So that was a testimony that changed my life too.
Wow, that's impressive. So you mentioned the EHT capsule, can you give us a little bit more detail about this product? For example, how often do you take it?
Okay.
How much does it cost? So maybe just a price point per month, what it would cost somebody to sign up. And I'm really curious about like how quickly you see results.
Okay, so it's a capsule. You take it once. Well, I would say it was designed to take once in the morning after you eat breakfast with a glass of water. And I have allergies, so hold on. So the there are people who take two, especially if they really have seen signs of lots of lesser brain function. So they take it in the morning and at night, but it's designed to only take one. And it really depends, I think, on the person and the weight of the person and all those functions I said, do what you eat, exercise. I think it really depends on that as to when you see the results. I've seen people who had lost all their memory get it back in 2 weeks. Okay. I've had people tell me I started noticing changes in 3 weeks. I've had people tell me, well, I don't notice a change yet. Give it 6 weeks. I tell everybody, give it 6 weeks. And it's really not expensive. It's only $65 a packet of 30. So it's not expensive at all. And I would say probably chat with your doctor if they can write a prescription for it. It's actually on the CASA permanency list, so your insurance could pay for it.
Oh, interesting. Wonderful. I love that. I feel like Western medicine is starting to wake up to the possibility that nutrition and fitness and supplements actually make a big difference in our overall health. So that is great. So how can people reach you?
Oh, well, so my name is Tammy Gartrell. Oh, should I put it in the chat?
That's okay. We're going
Okay.
to share the details in the description on the YouTube channel, and then it'll also be in the description for the podcast.
All right.
So if you want to just tell people, so when they're listening, they have the information.
Okay. So Tammy Gartrell, my phone number is 804-690-1465. My email is tamgartrell@earthmeet.net. And my website is tammygartrell.neora.com. And I'm on Facebook as Tammy Gartrell. I'm on Instagram as Tammy Gartrell. So you cannot not find me. Okay. If you want to find me, you can find me.
Wonderful. Okay. And we will share the links. So no worries there. Would you like to share a final thought, a little bit of inspiration for our listeners?
Do some squats. Eat healthy today. Keep that brain going because you only get one. You need to take care of it. And it has been my pleasure to be with you, Stephanie.
Awesome. It has been wonderful. I learned a little bit about good brain health and I love this product. I'm really interested. So I would love to talk a little bit more with you about this. But for the podcast, I'll let you know, if I do end up starting to take this supplement, I'll let our audience know what the results have been. So thank you.
Thank you.